and my musical pathway comes from rapping. You know what I mean? Like, it started for sure freestyle rapping. You know, just like, oh, I'm studying this so intently that I can do it.
So I had a question though. So if you're already buying a Gangstar album at 12, how do you discover hip hop as a young guy with a guitarist father in New Jersey
Because
at the
hip hop
era
was
you're
the
at?
shit. I mean, like, I went to school with people, and people were playing music that was like such shit that was hot at the time. I mean, talk about Biz Markie just passing. Like, that song came out when I was like 9. You know, you know what I mean? Like, the Just a Friend shit. Like, yo, that was a radio smash. You know what I'm saying? Like, motherfucker. Like, I was 10, 11, being like, Crisscross and Vanilla Ice are whack. They're not hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Is
you
the,
know,
so,
that's fact.
so there's a huge hip hop presence where you're at. Like, cause I don't know anything about New Jersey, man. Like, I know less
I mean,
about New Jersey than I know about
Is
New
like,
York.
New Jersey is like, Long Island East. You know what I mean? Like, it.
He does not know what you mean.
I
All right,
kind
so
of know what Long Island
let
is
me
because I've
explain.
stared at enough maps, but no, I
So,
don't know what you mean.
New York City's 5 boroughs. New York City is Manhattan, it's the Bronx, it's Queens, it's Brooklyn, and it's Staten Island, right? And those 5 boroughs make up New York City, which is in between Jersey City, which is New Jersey, and on the other side of Brooklyn is what they call Long Island. But Queens and Brooklyn are counties that are on the landmass that's called Long Island, right? So Queens and Brooklyn, Nassau and Suffolk, right? Those are the 4 counties that are on Long Island. So Long Island is inherently not only a part of New York State, it's by geographic, it's part of New York State. People consider like EPMD, Rakim, you know, a lot of the hip hop. Biz Markie, I think, is from Long Island. Busta Rhymes originally from Long Island. Like, Long Island is like considered New York adjacent. You know what I mean? And New Jersey, not the whole state. South Jersey is not New York adjacent, right? North Jersey, Jersey City, Newark, Patterson. There's places that are considered New York adjacent, and it's okay. And there's rappers that come from there, like, as if it's all part of the New York bubble, right? Just like people are coming from Wyandanch, Long Island, and they're considered a New York City rapper, right? Joe Budden is from Jersey City. You know, like, I can name, Tretch and Order by Nature. There's a million of them, right? And Tretch, this is around the time too when OPP was out. This is around the time when Jersey Redman was out. Jersey hip hop artists were getting love. So yeah, like, there's definitely a heavy presence of hip hop in Jersey. Jersey, I would not to like try to be funny style because my Jersey people will hate me if I said it's like Long Island East. It's just an analogy.
So what's a Central Jersey then? Since we're at the geography of that part.
Right? So Central Jersey. So in New Jersey, there's a thing where it's like, what exit, and heads mean what exit are you on the Parkway, right? So the Garden State Parkway runs north and south straight through New Jersey, right? It goes from North Jersey through Central Jersey and into South Jersey. If you looked at the state of New Jersey, it's got like 2 diamonds. It's like a diamond on the top and a diamond on the bottom. And that centerpiece right there, where it's like Pennsylvania over here and the water over here, the Atlantic Ocean, that part right there is Central Jersey. So North Jersey is Bergen County, Essex County, everything in the north. Central Jersey is Union County, Middlesex County, and others. But Central Jersey is a thing if you've never heard of it. And when people say what exit on the Parkway, they're asking you, so they know the proximity because it goes from tallest to shortest. So, if you're exit 158, we know you're in North Jersey. If you're at exit 130, you're in Central Jersey. If you're at exit 40, you're in South Jersey. Has to know that. What exit?
Also, so that people can know for context, right? Like, hip hop, like, there's people that argue, like, right? Like, Queens likes to, like, argue that, like, Nah, hip hop was born in Queens, yo. It wasn't the Bronx, you know. Like it's arguable, right? Because it was that fast that it traveled outside of the Bronx. And if it traveled outside of the Bronx that fast to Queens and Brooklyn, Jersey was just as fast. It was the fastest place. So while everybody else had to wait for their cousins and their families to travel to New York City, to come here, to get tapes, to get the feeling of hip hop, to then bring it back to their states, you know, all over the country, Jersey didn't have that wait, that long wait. Jersey was pretty much right there. A lot of those, the song that people think about, people that don't know hip hop like that they think that like the first hip hop song ever is hip hop, a hibbit to the. It's not, right. But
Right.
those guys, a majority of that crew, from Sugar Hill Gang, those guys were Jersey residents. So
I
like
think it's
Jersey,
from Teaneck. I think it's from Teaneck, and that's where Zoo's from. It's from Teaneck. So there goes another little connection. You know what I'm saying? Nah, but for real, like Zoo is wild nicer than those dudes. Fuck those dudes. Fuck that song. You know what I'm saying? I said what I said. I'm sticking to it.
Why? Why? Okay, you gotta understand. I do not know why you would say that or feel that way with that level of passion, because I've never heard anybody hate that song in my life.
break it down, Pat.
Yeah, like I'm a sarcastic motherfucker. Like if we chilling and we just talking like stories about me, you got to know me and my humor. That's a big part of me. Absolutely.
Fair. I appreciate that, Stills. So when do you start like freestyling and stuff? When does that like start to become a passion in your life?
Like high school, like had like in so I grew up in Perth Amboy, New Jersey, which is on the other side of Staten Island, right? So the Outer Bridge crossing at the south end of Staten Island goes right into New Jersey. For proximity of like where Central Jersey is, it's still touching a part of New York across the water, even though it's Central Jersey, right? And I went to as many schools as there was grades until 8th grade. I went to 9 schools, right? But that I switched more than once in a year, and schools were closing on us and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like different things. But it was ill because me and my twin brother, who look nothing alike, like we don't even look like we're friends, let alone brothers. You know what I'm saying? But that's my ace. Like that's the big homie, and Dutch knows my brother Van well. Now my name is Vanguard because I'm Van's guard, right? So we were twins, going to school, get to the schoolyard day one, went to mad different schools, had to do this like fucking 10 times. And, heads wouldn't, they're like, who are these 2 kids that we don't know that don't even look like they know each other, but they're like clicking, they must be cool. So we would always like get right in all the schools. It was never a problem. We were always like, but because my brother is wise with his mouth too sometimes, I'm sure, it would pop off, and if it was popping off, I would jump in, and heads are like, how are you, like, you're definitely not twin brothers, like you're not brothers, you know what I mean? Like nobody believes that anyway. Why are you trying to protect them? You guys don't even know each other type shit. And my brother and I got jumped a couple people, but I also, as a young man, used to see him in a fight and jump in and handle business, That's the guard aspect of it, for real. That's the real reason I chose the name Vanguard. I also like the avant-garde aspect of it. My brother is a painter. He's an accomplished fine artist. And just paying, like I just paying homage to my brother, so that's where my name comes from. And that's about me and my brother going to schools, and the schools that we went to in Central Jersey were the places where I started freestyling. High school was the place where I actually started doing it outwardly. You know what I mean? Heads were rapping. It was fucking 93. I was a freshman in 93, bro. Like Wu-Tang dropped like the same week that I started high school. You know what I'm saying? Like, and hip hop was popping. It was for me. I think '95 is the best year for albums, but I think that '93 is like the shit where everything changed. It wasn't like no New Jack Swing shit was cool no more. Hammer was over. All of the pop, corny, real whack hip hop shit was over with, and Wu-Tang kind of turned a switch on that. But that was the time where everybody, if you didn't rap, you were a hurt. You know what I mean? And if you were good at it, you were the man. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely was trying to do that shit. So that's when I started rapping. And the backstory behind my name. You know what I'm saying? That was kind of a wild, like, tangential loop, but I tend to be able to tie those back together.
Yeah, you do. By the way, to cut you off, right? I don't like pretending like I'm not doing it, right? But like, to cut you off, this is honestly why I love the show. And like, I feel like I get to know my family better. Like, I did not know that that's where Vanguard, the name, actually came from. And it makes perfect fucking sense. Knowing you.
Let me give you another little piece of that story, right? So, my grandfather is a G. He told my brother, he was like, yo, so Patrick take your name for his art. What are you going to do for him with your art? And my brother was like, ooh, okay. And I'll tell you right now, I'm not naming no names, like no spoilers and shit, but my brother has sold paintings to very famous people. And for a decade, from like 2001 until 2011, and then he stopped doing it, which I respect. Like, I can't even believe he did it for 10 years. Signed his paintings on the back, Van Hanos, the brother of Patrick Hanos. So every painting he made between 2001 and 2011, that's what it signed.
Wow. That's incredible.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's like not only incredible, it's got a heartwarming feel to it.
Nah, for real. And if you were to ever meet his brother, you'd know, like, he's absolutely right. Like, nobody would. I did not think that they were brothers. I think everybody kind of has that same energy when they meet Pat's Vanguard's brother, twin brother.
I'm Pat too. I mean, it's funny because, like, I was talking about Brandon to somebody recently, and they were like, nah, like, you can't say you gotta lock shit down only one way and one brand. Like, that's good advice maybe, but like, you don't have to do it that way. And I'm like, yeah, right. And they're like, well, you're Pat, right? You're Vanguard. You know what I mean? You're HR. You're all these different things to different people. And so, like, so what? Your brand is whack because it has more than one aspect to it? Like, nah. And that shit made me think, which is ill. The aspect of, like, having my brother's back and all that stuff, I think that's really important. It's wild that you didn't know that, because Van, and everybody in the dub, Holden, calls Van, my brother, Van Hanos, not Patrick Hanos, Van Hanos, calls him the real Van. So when we're but only when like, if we're in the same room together and Zoo is there, he'll be like, yo, Van. And then Van he'll be like they'll introduce him as the real Van, not Vanguard, the real Van.
Facts. These are facts. These are hardcore facts.
Yeah, sometimes it's very hard to understand dub lore. You really.
Yeah, man. The dub is a dynamic.
It's a bit of it.
Rich history there, man. Like,
it's
there's
an
so
amazing
much
history.
There's so much shit that happened that I know about that some people who are central to the organization might not know about. Like, not in a bad way, but like, I witnessed this thing occur that so and so didn't. You know what I mean? And vice versa. You know what I mean? And the thing that's ill about it is that vice versa was there for almost everyone's everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's the dude. When we talk about the dub lore, like, the lore is real. There's a rich history, and I wasn't there for every moment of it. I was there for plenty of those moments. I'm proud to have been there for all of those moments, and I miss my bro, man, because he was really there. He was there with me, like every time I was out that we were doing some dub shit, Vice was right there. You know what I mean? And there were times where I wasn't there and other people were there and Vice was right there. You know what I'm saying? So, V's up. I love
V's
it.
up forever.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a rewarding story. Like everything the dub has done has definitely inspired me, because it's like, honestly, a success story of a multi-decade grassroots organization that never sold out.
Yeah, I don't believe there's anything to sell out. And like the real shit is like, I mean, we're talking about this is. I love that we're going here because I wanted to. The dub is like a really special place, man. There's, it's like we don't put ads out to be like, hey, like really solid, genuine, caring, and like compassionate people come join us. We don't put that ad out there in the world. You know what I mean? But like the people that we have in our network are those people. Like I'm never nervous like we're gonna get Me Too'd on anything. You know what I'm saying? The people that we associate with are people who care about things and care about hip hop. I don't think selling out is a word that is like understood. It's like it's not even an option. Like of course like earning money. It doesn't mean selling out, but like
I completely agree with you.
When some people try to associate that with the one with the other, but that's not true. But
it's just about your integrity, and I think that's what it is. That the dub
that is the word for it, integrity.
Yeah, I think that the dub and the right, because the dub isn't like the dub kind of has that beautiful thing to it, like that saying about a home, right? Like a house isn't your home. Your home is where you lay your head. Right. And the dub is like, it's not a stable. It's not. It many years, almost a decade plus, right, in one venue. But that venue isn't necessarily the home. The home is wherever the people are, and those people that make up the dub, there's too much character and integrity in them for them to ever be even the type of people to be questioned about being sellouts. So,
I mean, that's a really, really good, description, because, we do the open mic in one place and then we move it to another place. But even when it was in those places that can be considered the dub for New York City and the vast majority of the initial people that knew what End of the Week was, End of the Week spread to so many other places that was happening there too, simultaneously sometimes. Yep. You know what I mean? Like there's two shows in two different countries that are happening at the same time. They're both End of the Week shows, right? Now, whether that's like a traditional, what we started to do, which was an open mic with some showcases and an MC challenge, or one of the chapters decides to just do MC challenges, or they, do festivals and they only do something once a year. Everybody comes together for the World Finals, and we've been doing that since like 2007. And the World Finals is the fucking dub. Like, the last time we all got together was Belgium 2019. We went to like a piece of DJ Proceed from EOW Belgium. You know what I'm saying? And the whole team. And peace to all my EOW fan members. Y'all know what it is. We did an event in like a fucking botanical garden in the little like theater stage thing that they had, which is like round room. That's like, I don't know if this is the purpose of it, but it's like one of those places where you stood in the center of the room and you like sung. It would like get acoustics and shit. Like amazing fucking venue. Like probably 600 people. Room is packed. People were not able to get in type thing. Fucking the show is the MC challenge, and it's all the countries together, and the judges are up in the rafters like fucking jotting their notes and shit. You know what I'm saying? And that shit was the fucking dub, And it's, sure, 10 countries, 15 countries coming together to do something bigger, but it still was just what the dub is, and that means it's the spirit of the people. It's not the event, Right. If it's an open or it's an MC challenge, those things are two totally different things. This thing that I witnessed was like in another country with like all this like really well orchestrated, show production, and it was just a dub to me. It felt the same. Of course, it's a different show. It's on another level, but the shit was just a dub.
Yeah, and even just to like for me, it's like fascinating, right? Because I mean, the dub extends to a point where technically, Fin de Faible is the first Quebec hip hop show in history of like our place to have like an actual hip hop show that's like us, and it's just end of the week in French, right?
Yeah.
Like, and they just said they're doing season 2, so like technically it extended so far to impact Quebec hip hop culture in a very significant way, because now there are going to be kids that are going to grow up and see hip hop on TV in like a legitimate way, and it not just be something that's stigmatized negatively.